Testing.
The Assembly will now come to order. The Chief Clerk will call the roll.
Assemblywoman Anderson, Assemblywoman Backus, Assemblywoman Bilber Axelrod, Assemblywoman Brown May, Assemblyman Carter, Assemblywoman Cohen, Assemblywoman Considine, Assemblyman DeLong, Assemblywoman Dickman, Assemblyman De Silva, Assemblywoman Duran, Assemblywoman Gallant, Assemblywoman Gonzalez, Assemblywoman Gorlow, Assemblyman Gray, Assemblyman Gurr, Assemblyman Hafen, Assemblywoman Hanson, Assemblywoman Hardy, Assemblyman Hibbets, Assemblywoman Howdigy, Assemblywoman Kasama, Assemblyman Koenig, Assemblywoman LaRue Hatch, Assemblywoman Marzola, Assemblyman MacArthur, Assemblywoman Brittany Miller, Assemblyman C.H. Miller, Assemblywoman Monroe Moreno, Assemblywoman Mosca, Assemblywoman Newby, Assemblyman Nguyen, Assemblyman O'Neill, Assemblyman Orant-Licker, Assemblywoman Peters, Assemblywoman Summers Armstrong, Assemblywoman Taylor, Assemblywoman Thomas, Assemblywoman Torres, Assemblyman Watts, Assemblyman Urick, Assemblyman Orant-Licker, Speaker Yeager.
Here. Assemblywoman Howdigy.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. May the record show we have 41 members present, 1 absent, excused.
The record shall so reflect we have 41 members present, 1 absent excused. That means we do have a quorum. If members of the Assembly and guests will please rise for the prayer by Father Jeff Paul, St. Peter's Episcopal Church from right here in Carson City.
Right here in Carson City. Speaker, last week I cut a deal with the Senate that I would work on limiting the rain and snow to uninhabited areas while they worked on getting rid of daylight savings time. I don't know if you heard about that deal, and if you look outside, you can see how that's working out. I'm wondering if we'd had better luck making that deal with the Assembly.
Yeah.
Okay. Can we make that deal? Taking it. Thank you. Take a nice deep breath. We bathe our souls in the well of wisdom, waters of protection, waters of strength, waters of healing be upon our being, our minds, our hearts. May this triple blessing be upon our souls from dawn's chill light till swift twilight. We invoke blessing and protection upon this assembly, upon all who work herein. And the people said,
Please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, you take care. Let's go. You too. Order business 2, reading and approval of the journal.
Carson City, Monday, March 2020.
Assemblywoman Howdigy.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move to dispense with reading of the journal and allow the Speaker and Chief Clerk to make any necessary corrections and additions.
You've heard the motion. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay. Motion carries. Order of business 4, reports of standing committees.
Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Government Affairs, to which were referred Assembly Bills 1892, has had the similar consideration and begs leave to report the same back. The recommendation do pass. Solano Torres, Chair. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Natural Resources, to which were referred Assembly Bills 84-131, has had the similar consideration and begs leave to report the same back. The recommendation do pass. Leslie E. Cohen, Chair.
Order of business 8, motions, resolutions, and notices.
Assembly Concurrent Resolution 6, introduced by Assemblyman Summers Armstrong et al., directing the Joint Interim Standing Committee on the Judiciary to conduct a study relating to battery which constitutes domestic violence.
Assemblywoman Gorlow.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I motion to refer ACR 6 to your Committee on Legislative Operations and Elections.
Without objection, so referred.
Notice of exemption, March 21, 2023. The Fiscal Analysis Division, pursuant to Joint Standing Rule 14.6, has determined the eligibility for exemption of Senate Bill 342, Wayne Thorley, Fiscal Analysis Division.
Assemblywoman Howdigy.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that the persons listed on the Nevada Legislature's press accreditation list of March 21st, 2023 be accepted as an accredited press representative, assigned space at the press table in the Assembly chamber, and allowed the use of appropriate broadcasting facilities, and that the list be included in this day's journal.
You've heard the motion. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed, nay. Motion carries. Order Business 9, Introduction to First Reading and Reference of Bills.
Assembly Bill 359, introduced by Assemblyman Monroe Moreno et al., enacting taxation revising provisions governing the effectuation of additional annual increases in certain taxes imposed on fuels for motor vehicles in certain larger counties and providing other matters properly laid thereto. Assembly Bill 360, introduced by Assemblyman Anderson et al., enacting to education, providing that certain teachers have sole authority to determine the grade assigned to a pupil and the components and weights used to calculate such a grade and providing other matters properly there too. Assembly Bill 361, introduced by Assemblyman Monroe Moreno and C.H. Miller, an act relating to state financial administration, authorizing a department, institution, or agency of the executive department of the state government to request the provisional approval of the interim finance committee to accept a grant and revise a work program and providing other matters properly laid there too. Assembly Bill 362, introduced by Assemblywoman Thomas, an act relating to property, requiring the housing division of the Department of Business and Industry to annually calculate and publish a cost of living increase, establishing certain requirements relating to increases in rent, providing certain remedies for a violation of certain requirements relating to increases in rent, revising provisions relating to notices of increases in rent, and providing other matters properly laid there too. Assembly Bill 363, introduced by Assemblywoman Brittany Miller, an act relating to professional licensing, providing in skeleton form for restrictions on the aspects of the criminal history of an applicant that certain licensing entities are authorized to consider in determining whether to issue the applicant a license, providing in skeleton form for procedures that a licensing entity must follow to deny an applicant a license based on his or her criminal history and providing other matters properly laid there too. Assembly Bill 364, introduced by Assemblyman Cohen et al., an act relating to physician assistants, prescribing the settings in which a physician assistant is authorized to practice, expanding the membership of the Board of Medical Examiners, authorizing the physician's assistants to perform medical services without the supervision of a physician, authorizing a physician assistant to perform certain medical services under certain circumstances, eliminating provisions governing the testing or examination of applicants for licensure as a physician assistant, prescribing certain authority and duties of a physician assistant and an advanced practice registered nurse, authorizing certain unlicensed persons to use the title inactive physician assistant, removing the requirement that a rural clinic be supervised by a physician, and providing other matters properly laid there too. Assembly Bill 365, introduced by the Committee on Government Affairs and Act relating to Governmental Administration, requiring with certain exceptions a state agency to ensure that funding from certain grants is distributed or used directly to benefit counties in direct proportion to the percentage of population of the state in each county, requiring the Director of the Office of Federal Assistance to submit an annual report to the legislature, requiring a state agency and any recipient county to use certain grants only for the program that was described in a grant application, requiring a state agency to provide certain notification to the office, and providing other matters properly laid there too. Assembly Bill 366, introduced by the Committee on Government Affairs and Act relating to Governmental Administration, moving the Keep Nevada Working Task Force from the Office of the Lieutenant Governor to the Office of the Secretary of State, revising the membership of the task force and providing other matters properly laid there too. Assembly Bill 367, introduced by the Committee on Government Affairs and Act relating to Public Works, providing with certain exceptions that a contract for certain public works projects require a contractor or subcontractor to enter into an agreement with a labor organization and providing other matters properly laid there too. Assembly Bill 368, introduced by the Committee on Government Affairs and Act relating to Public Administrators, authorizing the boards of county commissioners of all counties to abolish the office of Public Administrator and providing other matters properly laid there too. Assembly Bill 369, introduced by Assemblyman Orlicker and Gonzalez, an act relating to the judiciary, revising provisions relating to certain fines, administrative assessments, and fees, revising provisions relating to community service performed in lieu of certain administrative assessments or fees, prohibiting a person from threatening or intimidating a tribal judge under certain circumstances, providing penalty, and providing other matters properly laid there too.
Assemblywoman Howdigi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that Assembly Bills 359 through Assembly Bills 369 be referred to the committees as listed on the Assembly Bill Introductions list dated March 21st, 2023, and every member has a copy of this list on their desk.
You've heard the motion. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay. Motion carries. Order of Business 11, second reading and amendment.
Assembly Bill 138, introduced by the Committee on Health and Human Services, enacted into Medicaid, requiring a state plan for Medicaid to include coverage for certain behavioral health integration services and providing other measures properly in thereto. The people of the state of Nevada, represented in Senate and Assembly, do enact as follows: Section 1, end of Section 1, Section 3, end of Section 3, end of bill.
Are there any amendments to Section 1 of the bill as a whole?
There are none.
The bill is ordered to general file.
Assembly Bill 215, introduced by Assemblyman Gorlow et al., Senator Orangel, enacted into the Nevada Silverhead Legislative Forum, revising the residency requirements to be eligible for appointment as a member of the forum and providing other measures properly in thereto. The people of the state of Nevada, represented in Senate and Assembly, do enact as follows: Section 1, end of Section 1, Section 2, end of Section 2, end of bill.
Are there any amendments to Section 1 of the bill as a whole?
There are none.
Bill is ordered to general file. Assemblywoman Monroe Moreno.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Order of Business 8.
Order of Business 8.
I move that AB 138 be taken from its place on general file and re-referred to your Committee on Ways and Means.
Assemblywoman Monroe Moreno has moved that Assembly Bill 138 be taken from its place in general file and re-referred to the Committee on Ways and Means. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay. Motion carries. Order of Business 12, general file and third reading.
Assembly Bill 2, introduced by the Committee on Growth and Infrastructure, enacted into public safety, authorizing certain vehicles used by a local governmental agency or owned or operated by a contractor thereof to be equipped with and use tail lamps that emit non-flashing blue light under certain circumstances and providing other measures properly in thereto. The people of the state of Nevada, represented in Senate and Assembly, do enact as follows: Section 1, end of Section 1, Section 2, end of Section 2, end of bill.
Are there any amendments to Section 1 or the bill as a whole?
There are none.
Remarks. Assemblywoman Dickman.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Assembly Bill 2 authorizes vehicles used by a local government agency for the construction, maintenance, or repair of highways, and vehicles used by contractors of a local government agency to aid motorists or mitigate traffic incidents to be equipped with tail lamps that emit non-flashing blue light, and authorizes the use of such lamps under certain circumstances. Additionally, the bill requires the driver of a vehicle to take certain precautions when approaching such a vehicle that is making use of its blue tail lamps. Thank you.
Are there any further remarks? Seeing none, the Chief Clerk will open the roll. Would anyone like to change their vote? The Chief Clerk will close the roll. There are 41 ayes, 0 nays, 1 absent excused. The bill having received a constitutional majority, declare it passed and order transmitted to the Senate.
Assembly Bill 3, introduced by the Committee on Government Affairs, enacted relating to the State Permanent School Fund, reducing the frequency of financial reports of the State Permanent School Fund and providing other measures properly in thereto. The people of the state of Nevada, represented in Senate and Assembly, do enact as follows: Section 1, end of Section 1, Section 2, end of Section 2, end of bill.
Are there any amendments to Section 1 of the bill as a whole?
There are none.
Remarks. Assemblyman MacArthur.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Assembly Bill 3 requires the state controller to prepare a complete financial report of the State Permanent School Fund annually instead of quarterly. Thank you.
Are there any further remarks? Seeing none, the Chief Clerk will open the roll. Would anyone like to change their vote? Chief Clerk will record the vote. There are 41 ayes, 0 nays, 1 absent excused. The bill having received a constitutional majority, declare it passed and order transmitted to the Senate.
Assembly Bill 17, introduced by the Committee on Judiciary, enacted relating to motor vehicles, removing the requirement that a person who is convicted of driving under the influence of alcohol or a controlled substance must dress in certain distinctive garb while performing community service ordered by a court and providing other measures properly in thereto. The people of the state of Nevada, represented in Senate and Assembly, do enact as follows: Section 1, end of Section 1, Section 2, end of Section 2, end of bill.
Are there any amendments to Section 1 or the bill as a whole?
There are none.
Remarks. Assemblywoman Summers Armstrong.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Assembly Bill 17 removes the requirement that a person who is convicted of driving under the influence of alcohol or a controlled substance must dress in certain distinctive garb while performing community service ordered by a court.
Are there any further remarks? Seeing none, the Chief Clerk will open the roll. Would anyone like to change their vote? The chief clerk will record the vote. There are 41 ayes, 0 nays, 1 excused. The bill having received a constitutional majority, I declare it passed and ordered transmitted to the Senate.
Assembly Bill 19, introduced by the Committee on Natural Resources, an act relating to water, expanding the channel clearance, maintenance, restoration, surveying, and monumenting program to include tribal governments in the state, providing under certain circumstances that officers and employees of tribal governments are exempt from certain licensing requirements for state water right surveyors, and providing other matters properly in there too. The people of the state of Nevada are represented in Senate and Assembly to enact as follows: Section 1, end of Section 1, Section 5, end of Section 5, end of bill.
Are there any amendments to Section 1 or the bill as a whole?
There are none.
Remarks. Assemblywoman Anderson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Bill 19 allows local governments to apply for grants from the channel clearance, maintenance, restoration, surveying, and monumenting programs, which aids local governments in clearing, maintaining, restoring, and surveying navigable rivers in the state. The bill also authorizes officers and employees of the tribal government to apply for the position of state water rights surveyor, regardless of whether the officer employee is a professional engineer or professional land surveyor. This exception only applies to work performed by those officers and employees for tribal governments.
Are there any further remarks? Seeing none, the chief clerk will open the roll. Would anyone like to change their vote? The chief clerk will record the vote. There are 41 ayes, 0 nays, 1 absent excused. The bill having received a constitutional majority, declare it passed and order transmitted to the Senate.
Assembly Bill 33, introduced by the Committee on Government Affairs, an act relating to governmental financial administration, revising provisions governing the investment of money in the state permanent school fund, revising provisions governing the investment of money by certain governmental entities, revising provisions governing money transferred from the state permanent school fund to a corporation for public benefit to provide private equity funding to certain businesses, and providing other matters properly in there too. The people of the state of Nevada, represented in the Senate and Assembly, do enact as follows: Section 1, end of Section 1, Section 5, end of Section 5, end of bill.
Are there any amendments to Section 1 of the bill as a whole?
There are none.
Remarks. Assemblyman Wynn.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Assembly Bill 33 expands the authorized investment for money in the state permanent school fund, barring any judicial determination that such an investment does not violate the Nevada Constitution. The measure revises provisions governing money transfer from the fund to a corporation for public benefit to provide private equity funding to certain businesses. The measure revises the authority of the state treasurer to invest money from the general portfolio of the state in certain categories of bonds and other securities. Finally, the measure revises the provisions related to the authorized investments for local government and certain administrative entities.
Are there any further remarks? Seeing none, the chief clerk will open the roll. Would anyone like to change their vote? Chief clerk will record the vote. There are 41 ayes, 0 nays, 1 absent excused. The bill having received a constitutional majority, declare it passed and ordered transmitted to the Senate. Assemblywoman Howdegui.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that Assembly Bill 36, 43, 47, 68, 78, 82, 107, 124, 163, and 231 be taken from their place on general file and placed on general file of the next legislative day.
Assemblywoman Howdegui has moved that the bills remaining on general file be taken from their place on general file and placed on general file for the next legislative day. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay. Motion carries. Order of Business 15, remarks from the floor. Assemblywoman Howdegui.
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker. I'm so excited to say I have some special guests with me on the floor today. If they would please rise. These guests have been traveling up and down Nevada. They've recently met with the Las Vegas City Mayor, and today we get to have them in our chamber, and then they will shortly be heading over to the second chamber as well. And with us we have His Excellency Andrei Muraru, Ambassador of Romania to the United States. We have Leah Roberts, Honorary Consul General of Romania in Las Vegas. We have Monica Vasai, Political Officer to the Embassy of Romania to the United States. We have Theodora Dragulescu, Political Officer of the Embassy of Romania to the United States, and Dr. Stephen Fleming. If you could please help me make them feel welcomed in our chambers.
Assemblywoman Bilbray Axelrod.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise today to introduce my intern, Martina Shambra. Martina is a senior at University of Nevada, Reno. We won't hold that against her. She's studying international affairs with a minor in Japanese and will be graduating in May of this year. She's been interested in the political process from a young age, having been raised by a civilly minded single mother on a union paycheck that allowed her to a better childhood than what otherwise statistically expected in a single parent household. Informed by her upbringing and her studies, Martina hopes to assist in the good work done at the legislature to make a tangible difference in the state of Nevada. She's passionate about issues related to education, environment, and women's health, and is honored to work alongside so many here in the legislature who feel the same way. Martina is excited to meet you and continue learning over the course of her internship in my office, so please come by and say hello. Make her feel welcome.
Assemblyman Watts.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I have two announcements for today. First, I'd like to introduce my guests. I'm joined by two guests representing the Nevada Partnership for Homeless Youth, or NPHY. It's a comprehensive service provider for homeless youth in Southern Nevada, serving hundreds of young people through their core programs and touching the lives of thousands more through outreach each year. NPHY's programs stabilize homeless teens' lives, meeting their needs and providing a safe, supportive environment and a path to self-sufficiency. The organization is also dedicated to advocating for efforts that eliminate homelessness among Nevada's youth. I'm joined by Teresa Butler, a local youth advocate and UNLV alum. During the 2019 session, she helped revise, lobby, and implement Assembly Bill 363, a law that helps youth access their vital records and obtain IDs. And then in 2021, helped support Assembly Bill 197, a medical access bill for unaccompanied youth, and is dedicated to creating additional policies that will help young people access education, trades, and other opportunities that create a pathway out of homelessness. I'm also joined by Arash Ghafouri, the CEO of NPHY. He has transformed the organization into a community leader on issues affecting Southern Nevada's homeless youth. He's a passionate advocate for disadvantaged populations and an active leader in national and local movements to end youth homelessness, serving on the board of directors of the National Network for Youth, the advisory board of National Safe Place, and Southern Nevada Homeless Continuum of Care. Would you please make them feel welcome? And I do have another announcement very quick. Today, President Biden designated a Viquame National Monument in Southern Nevada, making it the 4th national monument in our state. The national monument spans approximately 506,000 acres of public land currently managed by the Interior Department's Bureau of Land Management, the Bureau of Reclamation, and the National Park Service. The Viquame National Monument protects and preserves a rich ecological, historic, cultural landscape. It is a place that is sacred. It includes Spirit Mountain, which is central to the creation story of many tribal nations in the area, and ensures continued access to hunting, camping, hiking, OHV use, photography, and other recreational activities that support our state's vibrant outdoor recreation economy. It creates one of the largest contiguous areas of protected wildlife habitat in the U.S., tying together the protected lands of the Mojave Desert in California, the Lake Mead National Recreation Area, and other protected areas. It provides native species including desert bighorn sheep, Gila monsters, desert tortoises, a space to thrive. It also provides protection to an ancient and intact Joshua tree forest that contains Nevada's largest known Joshua tree. So I hope you'll join me in celebrating the creation of Nevada's newest national monument. Thank you.
Assemblyman Nguyen.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. You can have all stand up. I am so excited to welcome some of our youngest constituent in Assembly District 8 with an organization called Grassroots Girls. The mission of Grassroots Girls is to empower young girls to advocate for healthier lives, stronger communities, and a sustainable planet. They achieve this mission by offering opportunities for girls to share their personal experiences with policymakers and to connect girls with other nonprofit organizations that advocate for progress. Grassroots girls believe early exposure to policy through advocacy on a personal issue foster a relationship across the nation, provides pathway for healing, and create future community leaders and engaged citizens. They are teaching girls to use their voice to create the world they want to live in. And I've had such a pleasure of talking to these young ladies, and I learned that Lola Shanahan, raise your hand, Lola wanted to be a teacher. Sadie Shanahan wanted to be a photographer in the Navy. Emily Clark wanted to be a doctor, an astronaut, and pilot, probably all in the same one position. And then Badria Yassin wanted to be in IT within the government. And so supporting these 4 young ladies are their parents, Melanie Clark in the back, Seth Shanahan, who's on with camera duties, and then Mohammed Yassin. So right there with the camera. So could everyone please give these young ladies and their parents a round of applause.
Assemblywoman Brown May.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to draw your attention to the date today, March 21st. Today is International Down Syndrome Awareness Day and commemorates the triplification of the 21st chromosome. I would be remiss in the disability community if I did not call your attention today and ask you to join us in celebrating the wonderful and diverse talents that many of our folks with disabilities have and they bring to our community. Tomorrow we'll have the opportunity to hear a bill in Health and Human Services called the Down Syndrome Information Act. And so I just want to draw your attention and ask you to join me in celebrating today.
Anyone else with Order Business 15? If I could take a moment of personal privilege, I wanted to announce that today is my mother's birthday. And for those of you who know me and know my mother who was here for opening day, you know I'm a mama's boy. I'm proud of that and always will be. And I certainly wouldn't be standing up here without her love and support. She may be watching because she's very interested in what we do here. So if you could just help me give her a round of applause to celebrate her birthday, I would really appreciate it. Assemblywoman Howdigi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Some announcements for the floor. Now, I'm not sure if they're still here, but I know we had some 12th grade students from Sage Ridge School from Assembly District 26. Are you still with us? Oh, okay, well, they were here. So if you see them wandering the halls, make sure to make them feel welcomed. Today is also Grassroots Girls Day, and there is a reception tonight for Nevada State College at Piazza from 5:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. Tomorrow is the Nevada State College Legislative Day, so please visit room 3100. We also have the Nevada Housing Justice Alliance Advocacy Day, Nevada Realtors Legislative Reception at Great Basin Brewery from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m., and Women and Retirement Savings Educational Seminar on Retirement Savings in room 3142 from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m., and everyone is invited to that. I also want to remind everyone that tomorrow is the unofficial Bolo Tie Day, so if you do have one, please make sure to wear one tomorrow and help us celebrate in the festivities. Seeing no further business, Mr. Speaker, I move that we stand adjourned until Wednesday, March 22nd at the hour of 11:30 a.m.
Assemblywoman Howdigi has moved that the Assembly stand adjourned until Wednesday, March 22nd, 2023 at the hour of 11:30 a.m. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed, nay. Motion carries. We are adjourned.